Do you like the Oakland A's? Are you a fan of the Golden Knights? Do you love the Los Angeles Chargers? Well then, my friend, you're in the right place. This is the Snake Sports Talk Show with your host, Jake the Snake Silva, brought to you by the Spotlight Sports Network.
Major League Baseball, and listen, they've been taking a whole lot of energy out of me. I mean, they seriously have. My thing with Major League Baseball right now is that all throughout it, we've had so many changes, and all of them are just so happen to be almost all at once. I know that Commissioner Rob Manfred is not perfect. I understand that. And I also did give my 2 cents in about how I feel about him as a commissioner. And the same with all the moves that had been happening. But this foreign substance policy now, because now they're suspending pitchers who have any types of foreign substance and everything, and they have checkups. Well, it just so happened that we had our first victim of it, which was Hector Santiago. And Hector Santiago, like this, you had to have known. Like, you had to have known that at that point, you were going to get caught with it. Everybody knows that they were going to get caught with some sort of substance. You know what's funny about this? Is I remember the time when Michael Pineda got hit with a foreign substance. Not a whole lot of people talked about it, but it was that foreign substance that was there on his neck. And a lot of people were questioning about that. And the second that he gets checked out, and the second they go and see it, they're like, oh, nope, foreign substance, gone, bye. And that was exactly what ended up happening. So, to this case in point with this foreign substance, and everybody's all freaking out up to this point because of the fact that, because of all this, like, they're not happy with it. Pitchers have been kind of mocking this whole thing. You saw this with Max Scherzer. You saw this with a lot of different players. They weren't happy with it. And look, I don't blame them one bit for that. But at the same time, you got to at least show personal respect for yourself. That's really what it comes down to. I know that because of all these changes that have been happening in baseball, and I've already put in my 2 cents from it, but eventually Major League Baseball is going to figure this out. Because as I've said, the baseball ratings have been dying. They have been dying ever since. They changed the All-Star game from Atlanta to Colorado because of some of the recent events in Atlanta. And the Braves organization was pissed about it. Then the foreign substance policy. And Carlos Rodon mentioned about pitchers getting suspended for this, but yet the Astros walk away with nothing. I know there are a lot of players and there are a lot of teams out there who still remember that they haven't forgotten about what happened with the Astros. I haven't. Lots of other fans haven't. And I've already spoke my piece. But the fact that it's an is what it is type of mentality, that's just the way that it's just been escalated for the last couple, since the suspension or since the championship takeaway. The second they put an asterisk in there, that was it. There were no player suspensions, nothing. But there were fires from Jeff Lunau and Alex Cora at the time, even though that he was already out. He was already in Boston. And then you also had AJ Hinch. Well, by the way, Detroit is looking interesting. But a lot of this stuff in baseball has just been constantly changing. it does take a little bit to lump up to the change. My thing of this is because eventually we're going to have robotic strike zones. I'm not saying that you got to completely take away the morality of the game, because you got to have an umpire there. And you love it when there were moments where the managers would end up, screaming and yelling at the umpires. Players would end up tossing their bats or their gloves or their helmets or hats, and they would not be happy. They've had moments like this. I don't think you completely take that away. I think that if someone's smart enough that if you have a motioning detector that'll call you balls and strikes, then at that point, it would make the game a lot better. Because then we would not have inaccuracies of balls and strikes. I know people get pissed about that. And balls and strikes have been called the absolute worst this year. I've been seeing it with a lot of umpires. It's as if we always have, clones of Angel Hernandez behind the plate. We all have done that. We've all have made comments about this. My thought about this foreign substance thing is, I understand the policy. I understand that they are trying to keep no cheaters away. But be careful how you even reiterate it. Because certain teams and players will never forget the cheaters who supposedly won the World Series, and that was it. So, however that they're going to man this thing, I mean, you give it your absolute best, but eventually, once this all gets corrected, and hopefully when everything falls into place, then we're not going to feel so giddy and uppity, and we have to, rush to our phones to Twitter and talking about it. Because again, I have been fed up and done with how Major League Baseball has been playing. But I've learned enough to not even care about the internals of baseball. I watch the game personally. I've played it. I understand it. And I've learned a lot from it through life. But I do it for the love of the game. That's all that I do. Make it better for the love of the game. Don't make it better for publicity stunts. That's all it is when it comes to Major League Baseball.